legendary Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. We've got the biggest game of the week, folks, as the number 4 Penn State Nittany Lions come into town to take on the third-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes.
The date is October 9th, 2021. We're about to watch the 5-0 number 4 Penn State Nittany Lions come into town to take on the third-ranked 5-0 Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, the Iowa Hawkeyes were known for beating multiple top 10 teams in their home stadium. But today's story isn't about this game between Iowa and Penn State, but more about how the Iowa Hawkeyes failed to execute ranked games after this game. Let's get into it.
Touchdown! Down the sideline! Goodbye! Touchdown, Iowa! For the end zone! The Heat will win! Touchdown, Iowa!
Guys, it's Landon Rank, and thanks for clicking on today's video. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye fan like me, you might finally be emotionally recovering from 2 weeks ago's loss to Indiana, and I just wanted to come out today and make a video talking about Iowa's struggles to beat ranked teams. You probably heard that number 0-11. The Iowa Hawkeyes have lost 11 straight games to ranked opponents, and today we're going to be jumping in right to how the Iowa Hawkeyes lost their magic touch of upsetting ranked opponents through the transfer portal era. Let's get straight into today's video, but first off,
let's go back in time.
The date is November 12th, 2016. The number 2 Michigan Wolverines head into Kinnick Stadium to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, this looked nothing more to Michigan than a tough Big Ten road game, but they should get past it, right? Well, you would think. Well, this is the Iowa Hawkeyes, and the Iowa Hawkeyes don't play anyone easy. You might know who this guy on your screen is. This is NFL tight end George Kittle. Well, the Iowa Hawkeyes were led by quarterback C.J. Beathard and George Kittle. George Kittle was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. Remind you, this Iowa team played Michigan very close. Let's see how it ended. Iowa is also coming off a 41-14 loss at Penn State, but the Hawkeyes keep it close, only down by 2 with 1:40 to go, and on a 3rd and 8, Michigan looks to secure the win, and the pass is incomplete. The Iowa Hawkeyes will have 1 shot left at the ball, and Michigan punts the ball away, but Michigan makes a key special team mistake and has a face mask on Iowa returner Josh Jackson, which moves the ball 15 yards down the field. Now, if this play doesn't happen, I'm not sure if Iowa even gets an opportunity to get in the field goal range. Part of the reason why Iowa has played so good at home over these ranked games was because of the effectiveness of special teams in being able to draw penalties and to make big plays when it matters. And Jim Harbaugh absolutely hated this call, but that was clearly a face mask. Now, the Iowa Hawkeyes put themselves in a dangerous situation. 3rd down and 7, they need to pick up a first down for their true freshman field goal kicker, Keith Duncan. And C.J. Beathard gets a QB sneak and picks up the first down with his legs. And here we go. Keith Duncan for the win to upset number 3 Michigan. Snap down, kick on the way, and it is good. Ice in his veins as the Iowa Hawkeyes beat a top 10 team in Kinnick Stadium for the first time in the 2010s. Now, this win really symbolizes a start for the Iowa Hawkeyes. A 5-year stretch where Iowa will go and beat over 4 top 10 teams, including this game here at Kinnick Stadium. But this history is not magic. This is Kinnick Stadium at its finest. No matter when Iowa could be 5-4 or 6-3, no matter what the other team's record is, the Iowa Hawkeyes find a way to win in this crazy environment at home. Now let's get to 2017. Now, the 2017 Iowa Hawkeyes were something special. After C.J. Beathard got drafted in the NFL, Nate Stanley took over at helm and started off his career 3-0. But in Week 4, Iowa played number 4 Penn State inside Kinnick Stadium. This game is heartbreaking. Iowa scores a late touchdown with Akram Wadley, but Penn State scores on the last play of the game to win 21-19. I don't even want to show the highlights of this game. Iowa drops 2 more and goes 2-2 in their next games, but in week number 9, they have the Ohio State Buckeyes coming to town. Let's see what happens. Now, both Nate Stanley and TJ Hawkinson were NFL draft picks, but I want to remind you, Nate Stanley was a 3-star quarterback, and TJ Hawkinson was a 3-star tight end coming out of high school. It's another November day in Iowa football history, November 4th, 2017, a game that I attended, one of my first games in Iowa memory. The Iowa Hawkeyes winning their last 3 of 4 home games against AP Top 5 opponents, and that one loss being earlier in the season, the heartbreaker against Penn State. Ohio State is number 6, coming in at 7-1, and Iowa is 5-3.
I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. Shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow. Just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam. I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testify, I don't need a subpoena. They want my soul, better go to Korea. I love my dog just like I'm Peter. Gotta protect him. I made the call up with just like I'm repping. I know we left, yeah, now we back together, but I guess that is better now. Later than never, like, what's happening? I'ma need y'all quit asking when. Me and my wife gon' have some kids. Right now we just practicing. Practicing. Teacher said quit rapping, man. That gon' hurt my average. I said thank God I ain't average. Yeah, I'm a bright young man. Kill the GPA and the BPM. Look, we on. So say what you say, cause that's A with Lecrae. From the A train to the A. I'm coming in. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, feel like Pop. Shoot a shot. Let me know where you were. Coming in. Coming in. Shoot that. Coming in. Wake 'em up. Wake 'em up. Wake 'em up. Wake 'em up. See him still sleeping, so I had to.
You probably just saw what young 7-year-old me witnessed. The 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes get manhandled 55-24 over this 5-3 Iowa Hawkeyes. This could potentially go down as one of the greatest games in Iowa football history. Iowa opens up the game with a pick 6. JT Barrett throws 4 interceptions, 3 to Josh Jackson. This game was insane. The Iowa Hawkeyes put up over 50 points on the Ohio State Buckeyes. And yet, still to this day, Ohio State has not came back to Kinnick Stadium. This is Iowa magic. And Iowa magic would continue on over the years. Iowa would be an 8th-ranked Minnesota team. We don't really need to show the highlights of that game. Iowa would rush the field in that game. Iowa in 2019 and 2020 would be good again. As I said, in 2018, the Iowa Hawkeyes would only get a chance for one ranked opponent to come to Kinnick Stadium, and they lost that game 28-17. That was to number 18 Wisconsin. They lost on the road to Penn State. You see the theme. Penn State was the one team Iowa could not get over the hump against, but finished with a nice 18th ranked win and a bowl game against Missouri to finish the season 8-4. A pretty solid season. Now, in the 2019 season, the Iowa Hawkeyes also played Penn State, who was ranked at home, and ended up losing that game 17-12, but beat Minnesota 13-19 at home. That win against Minnesota would be considered a top 10 win. So as we can see, the Iowa Hawkeyes had beat 3 top 10 teams inside their house in the last 3 seasons, which is amazing. They could have got Penn State back in 2017. They also played USC later on in the season and absolutely destroyed the Trojans 49-24. This was, in my opinion, one of the last big wins of the Iowa era, where they played great offense, great special teams, and great defense. Beating a 22nd ranked USC team in a bowl game meant a lot. To end the Nate Stanley era, off to the Spencer Petras area, where it started a little bit rough. 2020, Iowa lost their first 2 to Purdue and Northwestern. They didn't play any ranked teams that season, but they won 6 straight 10 this season. A win in Happy Valley. Even though that Penn State team that year wasn't that good, it was really big to see the Iowa Hawkeyes go into Penn State and just dominate the Nittany Lions with Sean Clifford at the helm. Let's head to 2021 now. Now let's get down into the nitty-gritty. 2021. The Iowa Hawkeyes started this season 5-0, as we saw, beating Indiana in Week 1 34-6. Now, Indiana was ranked 17th, but Indiana did not even end up being ranked. They went like 1-11 this year, so I wouldn't really even consider this, but another ranked win for the Hawkeyes. Then they took on rival Iowa State, who had Brock Purdy as the quarterback. Iowa State was ranked 9th. They didn't end up being too good either that year, but again, a ranked win on the road would be great before Iowa would beat Kent State and Colorado State and just dominate Maryland on the road 54-10. It was time for Iowa to finally get the monkey off their back, the Penn State Nittany Lions. Iowa had not beat Penn State when they were ranked since 2010. This is time for the Iowa Hawkeyes. After losing 3 consecutive years against Penn State at home, Iowa needed a chance for a win, and they got the perfect opportunity. So many plays before in the past, Iowa just could not get Penn State. We all know about the walk-off touchdown back in 2017, but the last year, Iowa got a little bit of momentum with this big Davion Nixon pick 6 as Iowa blew out Penn State in Happy Valley. So here we go. 2021, Iowa versus Penn State, a game to remember. Let's see what happens. Now, this game would live up to its hype. On Penn State's first offensive play, Sean Clifford threw a pick to the Iowa Hawkeyes. This Iowa team was on their feet after Justin Jacobs' pick, and this was the biggest play of the game. Penn State would get up 14-3 late in the second quarter, but Sean Clifford would go down with an injury after Jack Campbell hit him, and Iowa would go straight down the field after Penn State got a field goal, down by 2 touchdowns, but Charlie Jones would make it a 1-score game. Now, both teams from here would exchange field goals, but early in the fourth quarter, Spencer Petras would make a big play, looking down the field for Keegan Johnson. Keegan Johnson would get Iowa into field goal range. Iowa would cause 3 consecutive false starts. After a couple of really big false starts and accepted penalties, the Iowa Hawkeyes were fooling with the Penn State Nittany Lions. Listen to this crowd. This crowd was going insane. I had tickets to this game, but I actually sold them. Insane. Number 3 versus 4 coming down to the wire. But here we go, the Iowa Hawkeyes get the ball back in the biggest play in Iowa history with 6 minutes and 33 seconds, the biggest play in the 2020s of Iowa football. Spencer Petras finds Nico Ragaini for a touchdown, and the Iowa Hawkeyes take the lead, but there is still 6 minutes and 26 seconds left for the Penn State Nittany Lions to go. This touchdown will go down as the biggest touchdown for the next 5 years in Iowa history. The Iowa defense would get 3 consecutive 4th down stops, including this giant Matt Hankins interception to end the game, and the Iowa Hawkeyes walk out of Kinnick Stadium beating yet another top 5 team. And this stat, my friend, makes me sad to see, but this is what I'm talking about. 12 straight wins. First win versus top 5 teams since Ohio State, but 6 straight ranked wins, tied longest streak in Iowa football history. Well, sadly, this is the last time the Iowa Hawkeyes will get a ranked win for the foreseeable future. Till me making this video today, Iowa has not beat a ranked team, and as I see Spencer Petras take this video down, enjoy listening to these Iowa Hawkeyes rush the field. But this will be the last time until 2025 that Iowa beats a ranked team. Iowa would make their way all the way to number 2 in the AP poll and take on the Purdue Boilermakers in the next week with a 6-0 record. Iowa would get punished by Purdue 24-7 to end their perfect season and followed up 2 weeks later with a embarrassing 27-7 loss versus Wisconsin, and the Hawkeyes would finish the season 10-2. Iowa would get punished by Michigan in the Big Ten Championship 42-3 and lose to Kentucky in a close game in a bowl game. Iowa now 0-2 against ranked opponents since that win versus Penn State. They break their streak of 6 straight against ranked opponents heading into the season of 2022.
Now, the 2022 season was just a season to forget. Iowa lost to Iowa State for the first time. They lost to Minnesota for the first time in a long time. They lost to Illinois for the first time in a long time. They had a chance to play number 4 Michigan at home, but got blown to the curb against Michigan. Iowa proved that they could not stick with ranked teams. They also went on the road to Ohio State, which isn't very fair, but they ended up getting blown out there 54-10. Iowa had not got blown out in a while, so this was tough to see. After 2022, Iowa was 0-4 against ranked opponents since that Penn State win. And in 2023, Iowa would play 3 ranked opponents, and they would get shut out by every single one of them. Enjoy this now of Iowa getting crapped on by the rest of the opponents.
the sack. 5th of the game for the Wolverines. J.J. McCarthy takes a knee. The final score. That throws intercepted. Pierce down the sideline. Touchdown. Howard, plenty of time. To the end zone again. Caught by Buka. Touchdown. Wow, this receiving core is something special. Timeout. The clock's still running here. Sullivan's going to try to sneak it himself. No! Hit twice! Corey Flag was all over it. Well, baby! They need 16. Gillespie bounces. Steps back. It's got to let it fly. Gillespie rolls. Delivers.
Since that 2021 win against Penn State, Iowa has 0 wins versus ranked opponents and 11 losses. They've only scored 101 points in those ranked games and have allowed 333 points. That's over 3 times more points allowed than points scored. The Iowa Hawkeyes have been terrible against ranked opponents since that Penn State win. Now, let's discuss my final thoughts on this. The major question most Iowa fans are asking is, has Kirk Ferentz lost his magical touch to beat ranked opponents? You know, I think the Iowa Hawkeyes are going through a change right now. Every single one of those ranked wins were under the Brian Ferentz era. Now that we're in year 2 of the Tim Lester era, and Tim Lester is yet to be the ranked team, we've noticed that Iowa's defense has took a significant drop, and Iowa's offense has took a significant follow-up, which shows with Iowa putting up 24 points against Missouri last year, the closest they've been to beating a ranked team. I really think Iowa is going to get a ranked team this year. They still have Penn State next week, who might not be ranked, but they'll have Oregon and USC, who are currently ranked. And I want to see the Hawkeyes get a ranked team because it's been such a long time. It's been over 4 years. And I really feel like the Iowa offense was part of the reason why they lost so many of those ranked games I mentioned. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Check out more updates. Go Iowa. We'll have a reaction after the Wisconsin game. Let's go Hawks.